And you know what that means, chat? That means we are gonna have a fantastic game here that I cannot wait to get started.
Yeah, make sure you guys are all engaging with us as well. Let us know who you think might be able to take this down. Will it be the Ceruledge EX piloted by Ross Cawthorn, or will it be Diego Casaraga's Gardevoird EX deck? It's a deck that we know is super, super powerful, but I'm sure Ross has a game plan and knows which direction he's going to try and take this here. But it's going to be one for the ages. Like I said, I'm going to keep calling it. It's the Battle of Titans. This is one great matchup we're going to see now as both our players are beginning to set up. We do get a glimpse of those prizes, Shay.
Yeah, we do see the Pheasant Dippity and the Shaman for Diego. We do see the Varoom for Ross, and then the copy of Carmine as well. We're going to talk a little bit later about the Revo Varoom, but right now there is currently one Varoom in the prize. He does play a 2-2 line, so we'll still have access to both. And then worth noting as well, Diego did prize his only copy of Shaman. I don't think it's going to be terribly relevant in this matchup. And then did prize one copy of the Dark as well as the Pheasant Dippity. That is his only copy, so won't have access to them. But there he is, our 2017 World Champion versus Ross Cawthorn on the left. 2011 World's Finalist and 2005 World's Finalist. Yeah,
just get a glimpse of this, everyone, all Pokemon fans. Look at the number of world invites between these players. Here we go, fist bump, Swiss. Round 4 here at the North American International Championships. Looks like Ross is going to be kicking things off here. Energy attachment to the active Charcadet.
Oh, wow.
Squawkabilly EX in the hand as well.
This is a turn, and we see the rare turn 1 supporter going first, Carmine. Now, you're probably thinking, wait a second. That is not a legal move. However, Carmine, you can use it on your first turn. If you're going first, discard your hand and draw 5. And we do see the Squawkabilly EX going to hit the field as well. That can let you discard your hand to draw 6 if it's your first turn. Now, I know what you're probably thinking at home. Goodness gracious, Ross, why are you tearing through your deck so fast? You know, what's going on? Well, he is playing the Ceruledge EX archetype. There's a method to the madness. It has the attack Abyssal Flames. It does 30. Plus 20 for each energy card in your discard pile. So now we can sort of see why Ross is turboing through his deck really fast. He wants to get an absolutely ridiculous amount of energy in the discard pile. So towards the mid and late game, he announces Abyssal Flames, and whatever is in Diego's active will swiftly get sent to the discard pile. Now, the A spec of choice, not one we see all the time. Brilliant Blender. And I tell you what, it gets energy in the discard pile really fast. Let you search your deck for 5 cards and just discard them.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a kind of fantastic to see just all of this synergy as well. You're going to be looking at some of those energy counts and be thinking, well, what is a psychic energy? What are the 2 lightning energies doing in there as well? But he's also playing that one of Stadium Levincia, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Just to drag 2 lightning energies back from the discard pile back into your hand at any time as well. So it's just kind of the options. We do see the Squawk and Seize now. And now it's just kind of continuing to burst through. Gets another Charcadet down on the board state. And we're just going to keep going through where we can. Monkey Dory is another inclusion. He's found some space in for that deck as well.
This is ridiculous. We see the Levencia inclusion. We see the medicinal energy of all things here in the discard pile. But it is over to Diego now, who has led the one copy of, the one copy of Drifloon in the active. Now, he's playing that Gardevoird EX archetype, which loves to get psychic energy, funnily enough, in the discard pile as well. Why is that, you ask? Well, Gardevoird has the Psychic Embrace ability, letting you grab as many Psychic Energy as you like from your discard pile and attach them to your Psychic Pokemon. Now, there's a little bit of a downside. You got to put 2 damage counters on the Pokemon for each energy you attach. However, look at that Drifloon. That attack Balloon Blast does more damage for each damage counter on you. So you can sort of see how the Gardevoird deck works. Now, we know that Monkey Dory is a fantastic card in this format, and Gardevoird argues one of the best abusers of it because you can just damage your own Pokemon, and then Monkey Dory just moves that damage off, says, thank you very much, I don't need that, you have that, with this ability, Adrenablane. So, Diego's game plan is rather simple and very similar to Ross's, funnily enough, is get the Psychic Energy in the discard pile, and then Gardevoird can attach them straight out of there to use in magical ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, with Diego now going through that deck with that Buddy Poppin', he's got that double routes down onto the board state. Can just keep his board state as a single prizer, kind of cause a little bit more difficulty for Ross to try and take all 6 prizes, of course. But one thing that we will have to keep an eye out, because Ross is utilizing a Terra Pokemon in that Ceruledge EX, he has that Briar in the deck somewhere as well. So we're keeping an eye out on that, because when you're a Terra Pokemon and you're attacking into your opponent's active, when they have 2 prize cards remaining, you take an additional prize card. There's an Iona now being played from Diego, so we're going to continue progressing the board state in some way, shape, or form.
And worth noting, since it is a Terra Pokemon, we'll be immune to any Scream Tail shenanigans as well. But it is over. After we do see the Iona, going to reset both players' hands down to 6. And it looks like we are going to see a... Wow, I did find a Technical Machine Evolution from the Iona. Love to see that. That means Diego can end the turn with that Evolution attack and evolve up Rolts ×2 into Curlia.
Yeah, pretty good turn here, especially just kind of getting everything set up. Of course, has to utilize that Dark Energy on that Drifloon initially for now. But that's fine. Then if it ever does go to the discard pile, you know where it is. You can utilize cards like that Night Stretcher, like that Super Rod to fish them back, get it back again, get another big attacker swinging away as a single prizer against your opponent's board state. But I'm sure Ross is going to be doing his utmost to try and stop that from happening. Speaking of which, that stadium that I mentioned is just hit the hand there. Of course, it's one of the things that we've started to see, maybe with this kind of meta that we have from Destin Rivals, a bit of a, I guess, stadium war, I guess we're starting to see now. As you see Levincia now being utilized, a couple of those lightning energies can go back to hand. And I guess the reason why we utilize those energies and going into hand as well is for that Rev of Room, typically, because you do have to discard so that you can draw up to 6 into the hand. But he's just utilizing it. Oh, I love this throwback. He's utilizing it just like that Execute and that propagation ability.
Wow,
just to discard a useful energy away for that Ultra Ball and just find the right pieces he'd like.
Let's see. Are we going to see the Varoom getting developed? We actually haven't discussed the Varoom and the Rev of Room. It's a really good draw engine. It has the ability, Rumbling Engine, letting you discard an energy from your hand. If you can't discard the energy, you can't use it. But then you get to draw to, you have 6 cards in your hand. So you can see the synergy with Levincia. You can basically say, I'm drawing up to 6 cards every turn if the Levincia stays around. But we are going to see the Ultra Ball concluding, going to grab the Ceruledge. And it looks like we are going to see that evolve. There we go. The Abyssal Flames is currently live. 30 + 20 for each energy card in your discard pile. And it looks like we see 7 energy in the discard pile if that's what those dice are counting. More than enough for a big KO. And Ross Corfhorn is on the board here in our Swiss Round 4 feature match here at the North American International Championships. Is over to our 2017 World Champion Diego. What can he muster up?
Yeah, it's still plenty of sort of setup still to go. We'll need to find access to things like that Gardevoird EX, of course, so that he can start maybe applying pressure of his own, utilizing those big attackers like that Drifloon, maybe, you know, sweeping in with like that Screamtail where you can as well. That Squawkabilly EX only has 160 HP, is an easy target. Maybe something you can get around for the time being. Don't have to worry too much about that Terra Pokemon in the active spot swinging away for massive amounts of damage. We do see an Arven coming down from Diego first as well, grabbing sort of key resources and key pieces just to kind of get him through into the deck. I mean, he's eyeing up that secret box, Shay. We've seen it ever so important in this list at the moment, discarding 3 cards from your hand, allowing you to grab a supporter, an item card, a stadium, and a Pokemon tool card. Again, so important for all those combo plays.
It really, really is. And it's a card that we didn't actually see a lot of play, you know, early on, but then was popularized, and that seems to be the go-to A-spec in the Gardevoird archetype. You know, we did see Prime Catcher for a little bit. We saw the Unfair Stamp, but now it's Secret Box. Basically saying, whatever you want for the most part, you can just go and grab it.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, this Arven can also grab another tool card as well. You know, just another piece maybe that sometimes is utilized to maybe discard. Maybe can grab a Technical Machine Evolution and use that as one of the discard outs for Secret Box as well, because he's already utilized the first one. Does play 2 copies. So that's one way to kind of have an easy discard there. But he's just kind of double checking what he will be pulling from the Secret Box right now, as he's eyeing up an Earthen Vessel as well to the front of the deck. You know, plenty of searches available, just kind of looking what's available in that hand as well. Has access to Counter Catcher, which is currently live after Ross has taken 1 prize already. There you go. Looks like the Arven has concluded for the Secret Box. and the technical machine evolution. So that's, like I said, easy discard. And now it's just what pieces will Diego decide to go with from the secret box. So it looks like discarding the psychic energy. Again, it's what you want.
Yep.
Out of all the synergies that you have in the decks. Was eyeing up the first research, but would have left him a little bit short. Could pull another supporter from the secret box itself.
Yeah, it looks like we are going to see that being concluded. I think that was the professor's research. Opting to keep the technical machine evolution. I wonder if we're going to go for a double evolution on back-to-back turns, perhaps. Oh, no, that has just been taken. So it looks like Secret Box is being played. Going to get rid of Nestball, Professor's Research, and the technical machine evolution. Now, quite honestly, Diego can search his deck for a whole manner of things here. Item, tool card, support card, stadium. So it looks like Artisan is going to be taken. That means that Levencia, which we saw Ross use expertly in the last game, or last turn, I should say, is most likely going to get replaced. Both players can use it. Bravery Charm is going to be taken as well. Can still grab a supporter. What's he going to take?
Yeah, a number of options that are available. Looks like he's eyeing up that Earthen Vessel, just like he had already kind of telepathed in terms of his kind of decision-making a moment ago already, from when he was looking through just from that Arven itself. Can begin building up that board state, but it's just a bit of a worry that he may have to give up yet again another maybe Pokemon or another prize, because that Ceruledge will continue sort of swinging away. Does bump the stadium there. Artisan now available. Cleffa being positioned onto the board now after the Artisan there, as we do see the Earthen Vessel for more energy cards coming into the hand, it looks like. Guess he still needs to attach to the active to get that retreated away into the Cleffa so he can grasping draw. Again, it's one of those just kind of set up turns here. And he's kind of happy to maybe give up 2 prizes and then eventually progress that board state. He starts swinging away against 2 prizes himself, using his single prizes and maybe trying to offset it that way.
And yeah, we are going to see the retreat there. Grasping draw. George, you have 7 cards in your hand. We're going to see the Bravery Charm get attached as well, perhaps. Nope.
I have 3 cards.
Just going to see the grasping. Oh, no, still debating on what to do here. I imagine I'd quite like to see that. You know, you've got the Brave, you got the Adrenabrain there live. You want to give that Clef a little bit more hit points if possible.
Maybe one of those decisions was maybe, well, will I need to use this counter catcher now? Perhaps, maybe, you know, then I can draw some more cards. If I counter catcher up the Squawkabilly EX, for example, it means you have to commit an energy to it to retreat it.
Yeah.
And then you can't get an energy onto the Monkey Dory. Or if you do get this Monkey Dory in the active, you still have to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of options there, and he does get to Grasping Draw now for 4 cards, kind of help building up that board state. And it's over to Ross to maybe keep taking advantage here, maybe go a little bit more ahead in the prize race, as he does start off his turn with that Artisan.
Yep, then you grab any basic Pokemon that doesn't have a rule box and pop it straight onto your bench. We could see Vroom here. Could see a Charcadet, perhaps. Could see the fan. Does play a Fan Rotom. That would actually, I was going to say, would be a good attacker here into Cleffa, but wouldn't be able to get it into the active realistically. I don't think Ross plays any switching cards by the looks of it. So, and it is the Vroom being taken. Love to see that. So we could see the Rever Vroom coming up soon. And we want to see the Power Pad. They're going to shuffle in Professor's Research and the Carmine. It's like 7 energy currently in the discard pile. That means that Abyssal Flames is currently hitting for 180 damage. I make that.
Yeah, just making sure from Ross's side is kind of getting those sort of powerful draw supporters back in the deck. You know, if he's going to get eventually hit with multiple back-to-back Ionos, and maybe if he can't get the Revavroom live with an energy in hand, he can still maybe potentially draw into another supporter. Gets the Dark Energy attached to the Monkey Dory, but has to go straight into the discard pile there. And it's just a straight-up attack. Once again, another prize taken. That poor little Cleffa taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, I'll make that 200 damage. Getting to get sent straight to the discard pile, but it is over to Diego now. Let's see what he can do. Going to start to turn off there with an Earthen Vessel. Discard a Psychic Energy to grab 2 more. Haven't we had a chance to consult Diego's hand here? But it's quite big after the Abyssal, the Grasping Draw, I should say. So I imagine we'll be able to start firing off an attack back. Let's see what he can do. What is it? What actually is in that hand? I didn't see a Professor's Research at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of double checking what is available as well.
And then we want to see the Ultra Ball being played there.
I mean, it has to be this turn where you have to utilize, you know, an attacker. You have to start swinging away. You can't go too far behind against this deck eventually, right? I mean, you've already given up 2 to Ross. You don't want to go any further. You can keep giving little 1 prizes away. There is the Gardevoird EX from the Ultra Ball, of course. And this is most likely the turn where we're going to have to start swinging away. Maybe we'll just Scream Tail for now and just take in the Squawkabilly EX, the easy prize, the easy knockout.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'd have to utilize that Balloon Blast with the Bravery Charm, and this is the kind of where you get the big KO.
Is there enough energy in the discard pile for the big Balloon Blast? I imagine the way this turn is panning out, it probably is. Remember, each energy currently counts for 60 damage with this Balloon Blast. So it looks like there's going to be enough there because you only need 5 for the big KO Balloon Blast. 30 damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. That's going to be a big KO there. Looks like the Scream Tail is going to be taken off the arts as well. Now, I like this. Basically saying, no matter what you try and do, try and disrupt my hand or not, this is where Gardevoird gets dangerous, because it can just play off the board, right? KO my Drifloon, disrupt my hand, that's fine. As long as the energy in the discard pile, I can just power up Scream Tail next turn as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just going to be a massive 300 damage from Balloon Blast here. Big knockout on an EX Pokemon, leveling up the prizes here. Both players down to 4 prizes remaining. Over to Ross to decide which Pokemon he maneuvers into the active spot. I can imagine it's only going to be a Charcadet, because he's going to have to start swinging away. But he's got no attackers right now. But that Charcadet does Will-O-Wisp for 20 damage, will knock out the Drifloon with a Fire Energy. And he's got it Fire Energy in hand.
What else is in that hand, though? Bro, I can't use that counter catcher. What's that?
Pheasantipity?
Pheasantipity. Oh, but that's dangerous to put down. If you put down Pheasantipity and Squawkabilly at the same time, Scream Tail, well, it's licking its lips, going to go straight to lunch there. But it does hit the board. Flip the script is now live, and you draw 3 cards if one of your Pokemon was knocked out. Your opponent's last turn. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, Shay. Why is it uh-oh?
It's just energy, Alex. There's not many playables now. We can't take the KO with Charcadet. That's fine, but what do you do after that? Oh, dear. But I tell you what, that is a well-trained Charcadet. Will-O-Wisp there, just doing enough for the KO. Ross takes his 3rd prize card here. It was the Jet Energy being taken. It's not really what you want to see. Now, if you're Diego, oh, this is looking really good. Roaring Scream has a multitude of targets here. I wonder what he's eyeing up. Just going to consult the discard pile first. Could just debate what he's going to put into the active spot, but I think the world is Diego's oyster right now. Can do whatever he likes realistically this turn.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of big targets on Ross's board. You do have the Squawkabilly EX with 160 HP, but you do have that Pheasantipity as well with 210. And if you can kind of clear the Pheasantipity, don't give Ross access to draw power if possible. That could be a really, really impactful turn for Diego here. If he's going to utilize something like the Gardevoird to attack, it's only dealing 190. I say only 190. It's still a lot. 190 with Miracle Force. We'll need to utilize something like the Monkey Dory there. Artisan currently being utilized. I can only imagine we'll finally see, a second Monkey Dory go live and finally see trying to get a Dark Energy onto one of them. So that we can start swinging away. I think there was a counter catcher maybe in hand already. We kind of spoke about it before, right? Oh, no, he brought it up in the Monkey Dory. Does he have another one that's available right now?
Yeah,
he does. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, no. This is... could maybe find the Earthen Vessel here so you can start getting those Dark Energy developed. Nice stretch if there's one in the discard pile. There's the Earthen Vessel.
Yeah, but this is where it's going to get real tricky, and we're going to be watching both of these players. We saw one card in Ross's in hand that we already kind of highlighted. There's a Briar waiting there. There'll be a point where eventually, unless Diego kind of has to play around it, maybe have to take a 1-prizer, he will put himself down to 2 prizes at some stage, or could put himself down to 2 prizes at some stage, which does mean that at some point a Terra Ceruledge EX could come up to the active spot and take a massive 2 or 3 prizes depending on what's needed.
So what you're saying here is, if Diego was to Roaring Scream for 2 prize cards, you know, into the Squawkabilly or Pheasantipity, what you're saying is Ross could do a Hail Mary, Abyssal Flames, into the Gardevoird EX to take all 3 prize cards and win next turn? Is that what you're saying?
That's definitely a possibility.
It's a possibility, but it's going to be tough.
Exactly, after we saw that hand, as we do get now the Bravery Charm to the active, Scream Tail, which has come forward. This allows the Scream Tail to overstretch its original HP with that fantastic Roaring Scream attack that it's got. It'll be 20 times the number of damage counters on it. Stretches over, takes damage, or starts stretching damage over across to Pheasantipity here. Big 2-prize knockout here, putting Diego down to 2. But it does mean, as we've just said, Ross has a way to maybe, just maybe, take this. Let's see what this hand brings.
Was that a nice stretcher? It was a nice stretcher. If we can get a Ceruledge back from the discard pile, Bayer is currently live, would only, and we'll be able to use counter catcher perhaps, but we need a multitude of energy and discard pile. It looks like 9 is there. I think we need 14 or 13 perhaps to get there.
Yeah, I mean, we can do this together. Abyssal Flames is 30 plus.
Okay, let's do it together.
20 more damage for each energy card in your discard pile. To stretch to 300 damage, I mean, you're looking at sort of 14 energies to get to 280, and then the 30 will help push it over. Maybe you can swing or get some, I don't know, there's no way to manipulate damage to get Monkey Dory Adrenabrain going.
Oh, wait.
There's Pheasantipity.
Wait, we saw the Night Stretcher grab the Pheasantipity, didn't grab the... Oh, we did see the Rev of Room now. The turn continues. But there's quite a lot of cards in this hand. We won't be able to draw much with the Rumbling Engine. This is looking like it's a dire situation here for Ross. Opting to take the Pheasantipity versus the Ceruledge to try and draw extra cards. Can grab the Rev of Room to draw extra cards, but there's a lot of cards in that hand that you won't be able to play. Rev of Room only lets you draw till you have 6. So would have to play the hand down to get much use of it. Yeah, here we go.
And there's no way to play 2 supporters in a turn, unfortunately.
No, can't do that.
This does have the Professor's Research there as well. There's the Rev of Room, finally live and ready to go with that fantastic ability to help Ross draw some more cards as well by pitching away an energy card, Rumbling Engine. Oh, it's going to be
the
Professor's Research here. You see the nod by Diego. Well, there was a nod by Diego. You can't quite see it right now, but we saw a nod from Diego, exactly what's happened. Energies in the discard pile now at 13, Shay, from those dice.
Yep. So that is the magic number. Well, one off the magic number for taking a big KO there. Night Stretch. I mean, Night Stretches get you back your Ceruledge. Ultra Ball can get you there as well. But this is looking scary. You'd love to try and, in an ideal world, draw into another one of your counter catchers. You can bring back up the Gardevoird. But then if you were to do that, the Roaring Scream just gets the Squawkabilly. So it's looking like it's tough. How does Ross answer all these questions at the same time?
Yeah, there's so many little things that he has to consider here. Obviously wasn't able to completely piece together a monstrous turn with the cards that he had available. Maybe just wasn't sort of falling into place that he would have required here. But Ross is still kind of eyeing up what little percentages he might have, you know, trying to force his way through, try and take this game 1 here of the Swiss round 4. Evolves up the Charcadet to the Ceruledge EX in the active spot. Yeah, he just takes the knockout here on the Scream Tail. So we'll go down to 2 prizes as well. Diego does have 2 prizes remaining. Remember, we've already mentioned that Squawkabilly EX and the Pheasantipity are available. Is there a boss's orders in Diego's list? No, I can't see one right now. So would have to rely on something like the Scream Tail again to be able to do so.
So Night Stretcher gets you there to use the Roaring Scream. I'd love to try and consult what's in Diego's hand right now. Just have a look. Dark Energy looks like being developed. Now, it hasn't got, I guess, to be fair, with Gardevoird, you could just get all their damage into play for you to bounce back up. Let's have a look. Oh, there is the Lily's Clefairy in hand. Now, with the extra damage from the Psychic Embrace, Full Moon Rondo, I believe, will get us there. But looks like the Professor's Research is going to be played instead. So that Lily's Clefairy has been sent to the discard pile. What are these 7 new cards going to draw us? Night Stretcher here would be game. Here we go. And there's a Night Stretcher, the first card.
Just make sure Diego has it.
Looks like Night Stretcher is being eyed up. There is the Scream Tail. And you've got enough energy there for the big Roaring Scream to KO the bench Squawkabilly. And that means Diego wins our game 1 here in our Swiss round 4 feature match here at the North American International Championships.
Yeah, great play there by Diego. He's taken down the Ceruledge. Not a deck we'd expected to have seen necessarily at something like this at the moment. It wasn't necessarily on everyone's sort of minds, but Ross is the one who's been able to bring it. But Diego's overcome that Ceruledge EX for now, taken game 1, and it's going to be on Ross to try and stem the flow, try and turn this around if possible. I think there's still maybe just over halfway amount of time remaining, as we do get a chance to just kind of recap exactly how Game 1 went down here.
Yeah, and it's a really interesting one. You're safe to say Ross actually got off to the races first, was firing off his Abyssal Flames to take the KO. It was only on a little cleffer though, unfortunately, but this is where Diego said, hold up, I've got my energy and discard pile, I've got my Gardevoird. That means Drift, Loon and Screamtail are going to come in for big amounts of damage. We did see the little Charcadet Will-O-Wisp coming straight back into bit the response KO, but then Screamtail came in for some backup immediately, sending the Pheasant Tippy to the discard pile, and Ross was sort of in trouble. Did have the potential to piece together the dreamlike turn, was only able to KO the Screamtail, but then it came straight back with a Night Stretcher, and Diego was able to win Game 1 with that roaring scream right there.
Yeah, certainly screamed its way to a 1-0 victory for the moment in this first game. There are 2 potential games remaining here. Ross, like I said, is going to be looking for a way to turn this around. But, you know, his backup is up against the wall here. Just over, as I was about to mention a moment ago, just over half the remaining time of this round to go for this feature match. And again, both of these players are going to be looking for that, just those potential little percentages, those little potential outs to try and take this game. We do see the fist bump. Here it is, Game 2 of the Swiss Round 4 now. Ross will be going first once again, it looks like. Starts with the Squawkabilly EX in the active. Squawk and Sees live, ready, raring to go. All those energies in hand, it looks like as well. Gets an energy attachment to the active, so he can pivot and retreat. But it looks like we're going to start going to the races here, Shay.
Yeah, Squawk and Sees very efficient, discarding 4 energy already. It means the Abyssal Flames, when it does come out, looking at a minimum of 100 damage right there. There's the two times Charcadet, including the Will-O-Wisp one that we saw get used, funny enough, in Game 1. Do we see the Varoon, perhaps? We're going to see the Carmine. More energy hitting the discard pile, more cards getting drawn. And there's the Varoon as well. We didn't get to see it as much in Game 1, but there it is. An Earthen Vessel, so I'm going to discard another energy, Alex. This is a ridiculous amount of energy hitting the discard pile already.
Yeah, medical energy hitting the discard pile now. Again, a card that's, I guess, utilized because it's a special energy card. When it's attached to a Pokemon, it provides colorless energy. But when you attach this card from your hand to one of your Pokemon, it allows you to heal 30 damage from that Pokemon. So maybe it's one of those kind of soft counters to some things like the Dragapult EXs, like the Marnie's Grimmsnarl EX. Those are little sort of unique things that you can maybe try and do with it. A little bit less useful maybe here. Unless you really needed to heal some damage that's maybe flung over from an opposing Monkey Dory. But at the same time, the hand is looking pretty tasty right now, because alongside this Earthen Vessel, there's a Professor's Research at hand. I think there was another very useful card, a very powerful card coming as well. And he's just going to be ramping up all this potential damage, because all those energies are going to be hitting the discard pile very, very quickly.
Yeah, I tell you what, Ross doing everything he needs to try and win this game too. After the races straight away. And that's what you need to do, is get energy and discard pile really fast. So what you want to try and do is eject the Gardevoird as soon as it comes down if possible.
Remember, Ross, of course, with this first deck search, in effect, from this Earthen Vessel, has been trying to figure out those prizes alongside us as well. And it's just one of those important things. You know, Ross has been one of those players who he does take his notes on those prizes. You know, make sure you know all your resources that are available to you in your deck, what you're playing with. And that hand, I mean, that other card alongside the Professor's Research and the 2 energies now is actually a Ceruledge EX.
Tell you what, you can't really ask for a more better turn than that going first. But it is over to Diego, who's going to kick us off here in our Game 2 with his Buddy Puffin, letting you grab 2 basic Pokemon with 70 hit points or less and pop them straight onto your bench. And I imagine here is going to work out what is in the prize cards. But luckily for us, audience, we get to just consult this handy-dandy graphic. Lily Scafferi, we've got 2 energy at the top, one of which is the basic Dark and the Earthen Vessel, Super Odd and Professor's Research. Not the end of the world, but, you know, does play 2 other copies of Earthen Vessel, does have another 2 copies of basic Dark. You could argue the biggest one there is that Lily's Scafferi, because we could have saw that being used in Game 1 for a little bit cheeky KO. And then that is the only copy of Super Odd, funnily enough. Yeah,
I mean, has access to things like those Night Stretchers, which means he has that kind of recovery that he needs to, as we do see double routes now being set up here with that Buddy popping. And I'm sure we're going to continue seeing the rest of the hand as well. We do see Arven come down, one of those ever so important pieces to find. Like I said, those combo cards, just like that pink A-Spec there, alongside that fantastic technical machine evolution. Try and get those routes into Gardevoirds as soon as possible so that you're ready to start swinging back away if you're going to get put on under a lot of pressure.
Both players having ridiculous turn ones. Going to grab the secret box here. Now, I wonder, as we do see, is it Artisan going to get discarded? It was definitely one of the cards there. Is it Rolt, perhaps, and the rare candy? Just debating on what to discard. I mean, discarding 3 cards from your hand is a hefty drawback. Being able to search out an item or tool card support and a stadium card obviously makes up for that.
I think more than makes up for it, Shay. Usually those are very powerful cards. I mean, the very odd thing is he's going to be probably discarding one of each of those things anyway, just to get different versions of item supporters, you know, stadiums and so on. But you got to pick up the most useful pieces, right? He's already got that technical machine evolution in hand. Doesn't need the red candy as much anymore, because if you can evolve up to those Curliers with technical machine evolution anyway, well, why do I need it, right? Gets the second technical machine evolution so he can potentially pitch it away to get an energy into hand so he can attach this to Screamtail. And we're just going to be going at the races. You know, I'm not going to be quite matching your sort of draw power you saw from the Squawk and Seas and the Carmine, but, you know, I'm going to be going myself. I'm going to be discarding plenty of cards my own way, getting the Screamtail attached with an energy, and I'm going to be getting myself as close as possible to a Gardevoird, but just one more turn away.
I want to give a massive shout out to the production staff for that quick, that camera zoom there to see what was taken off the secret box. Love that. But we are going to see a technical machine evolution that did get searched from the secret box, attached to the active Screamtail with a basic energy, and we are going to see the attack being used here. So Curlier ×2. So pretty much identical turn Diego had in game 1, except we're just swapping out the Screamtail for the Drifloon, and that's the only difference. And I tell you what, and it worked so well last game, so, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly, that's all you need, right? You just need one of your attackers. You need to know where they are, especially that Screamtail, because, you know, it just means that Squawk ability is always an easy target. Some stage, only 160 HP, nothing to really, something to like try and protect in any way, shape, or form. But Ross has to play it to kind of burst into this deck, and it's over to Ross for his turn 2. Another Professor's Research in hand now. Energy and evolution up to that Ceruledge EX. Professor's Research, another energy hitting the discard pile. 8 now there, Shay. So now 160 damage, plus the 30 base that the Abyssal Flame has. 190 damage it's dealing. As I now see Shay just kind of double-checking his math working now as he's been writing down there. But, you know, I'm sure Ross is the expert here.
Oh, he definitely
He's the one playing the deck, of course.
Yeah, not me, not silly
going up to 9 now, Shay. What are we on?
I don't want to say because I got it wrong.
we do 9 times 2, which is 18, 180 damage plus the 30, 210.
A nice little crisp 210. There we go. We got there.
But
which,
yeah,
to be fair though, that is a silly amount of energy having your discard pile by turn 2.
Absolutely, and you know, and that's probably not even it yet. If we can get we've got Ultra Ball in hand, it looks like, as well. We can get to a Rever Room. We can continue pitching more energies, drawing more up to 6 cards. We can keep going at this point here if we want to do so. And he is. We're going to 10, Shay. What are we on?
230.
There we go.
Come on,
yes,
we're learning. Come on. See, that's one of the easier ones, though, isn't it, that one?
Hey, it's got to be done. Ultra Ball here. I'd love to see I guess another Ceruledge EX. Love to see the Rever Room at some point as well, because you want to be protecting yourself from those Iono plays. You're facing up against a Gardevoird EX deck, which you know plays 4. You know you're always going to be disrupted where possible. But I guess when you get a second attacker, what Ross was struggling with in the previous game was actually having a second Ceruledge EX going.
Well, as we are going to see the retreat now. That's another energy hit in the discard pile. So we're at 11. That is a big old Abyssal Flames. Roaring Screamtail getting sent to the discard pile. Basic 5 energy getting taken from the prize card. That is over to Diego. Now, last game, Diego was able to immediately respond quite fast. Has he got the resources to be able to do so?
He had one more turn. He took the Cleffer turn, remember? He had one Grasping Draw turn. Yeah. He was like, okay, I can give up one more prize. That's not a problem.
Okay, that's fair.
But so it really depends here. I mean, the hand that he's working with, he does have Professor's Research. He has a Gardevoird EX. But he obviously needs to find something like the Night Stretcher now. Remember, we're always talking about decks which like to play from behind. And if Diego does go ahead and maybe takes out the Squawk ability EX, for example, it means he's going to be ahead for maybe 1 or 2 turns. And then his counter-catcher plays aren't quite there. His Ionos aren't as powerful anymore. You know, maybe there's sometimes a turn where he takes it off, but it looks like he's going for it. It looks like what's just hit the field. It's that Drifloon.
That's that big balloon blast. Artisan has just been played as well, so that means you can grab any basic non-rule box Pokemon. Looks like the Monkey Dory. Oh no, that means there's all manner of damage flying around there with the Adrenabrain. We've got the Drifloon Balloon Blast for each energy attached via Psychic Embrace. That's extra 60 damage. Do we have access to the Gardevoird EX? And the way the turn's been panning out, it looks like I imagine it's in hand.
It's in hand. It's in hand.
Okay. It's there.
Okay. It's waiting. But I just would love to see exactly how many energies in that discard pile.
The Professor's Research as well. That empty hand Professor's Research doesn't get much more efficient than that. Gonna draw 7 cards now. The turn continues. Oh, Dark Energy as well.
Loads of energy in hand. Ultra Balls in hand to pitch even more. Hasn't hit a Bravery Charm, so it doesn't mean the Drifloon is going to be capped in terms of the number of damage it could do at 180. Because, you know, with 3 Psychic Embraces, that puts it down to 10 HP remaining or 60 damage taken.
Yep.
And it's 30 times. Yeah, you can't KO yourself.
You can't KO yourself, so we will be capped there, the 180 mark. And it looks like we are debating the Ultra Ball. Perhaps, if you say, well, if Drifloon can't get there, I guess you can go for the Scream Tail. Can Scream Tail reach the Squawk without needing a Bravery Charm?
It can, but it's in the discard pile right now after being knocked out, remember?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I didn't see the Night Stretcher, so...
So is there maybe a turn here you can potentially maybe Mind Bend?
I was about to say, is Mind Bend. Looks like we do see the second Monkey Dory coming down. It could be the Mind Bend. That does 60 damage, and then you actually confuse your opponent. And if you are confused and you choose to attack while confused, you flip a coin. If heads, your attack goes through. Happy days. If it's tails, though, the attack doesn't go through. And you hit yourself for 30, a little bit of insult damage there as well. And bear in mind, you can also move off the damage that you, from the Psychic Embrace, you can move that back. So that Mind Bend only doing 60, it actually gets bolstered a little bit. Yeah,
so there's this first Psychic Embrace to the active Curlier there. Gives yourself essentially a retreat. And there's more Psychic Embraces to this Monkey Dory. Requires a Psychic and a Colorless Energy to use Mind Bend. We usually do see it with this Dark Energy. The bench one is going to have it there. And we are going to see the first Adrenabrain of this second game. And it's going to be a Mind Bend for 60 damage, 30 with the Adrenabrain there, 90 damage on that. It's over to you, Ross. Can you piece together maybe something like one of your Jet Energies to try and maneuver around and just kind of get away from this active spot here? Because, I mean, this Ceruledge EX, I mean, there are a couple currently prized, which isn't ideal. Zudu, CD Artisan, I think Ross is going to double check what he has access to here as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that before when it gets into some awkward turns. Well, then we just consult the deck. What have we got available to us?
I don't think there's any there. I think maybe the other 2 have already been pitched quite early. Through the Carmine, through the Squawk and Seas, through the Professor's Research. The other cards he's already utilized to burst through. Looks like it's going to be a Monkey Dory here from the Artisan. I wonder if we're going to see a Tails, not a Tails flip, a Confusion flip to try and maybe swing away at this Monkey Dory. But Diego's found a bit of an opportunity, and a window, let's say.
Yeah.
We do get a Dark Energy attachment to Monkey Dory now, so it has his own Adrenabrain live and active.
That is true. We are going to see the Iono. Okay, so, and the thing is, the Ceruledge will have 2 retreat costs. You're not going to be able to maneuver it very easily and attack, so we are going to have to see the Iono. Going to reset both players' hands, the amount of prize cards they have remaining. Remember, Ross is currently 1 prize card up, so is only going to be able to get 5. And yeah, it looks like are we going to see the Confusion flip? I imagine we might have to.
Yeah, I can't see any other direction right now. I mean, you obviously use the Adrenabrain. He's just kind of eyeing up maybe that Power Pad. Yep, looks like there, just to kind of get a couple of pieces back. I wonder if he'll sort of telepath his turn by putting the Briar back there as well, saying, Diego, well, you're going to need to find a way around sort of just going down to 2 prizes at some point, because I'm going to try and get this Briar turn when I need it. And the Iono comes in as well. Again, it's just a one-off copy in Ross's deck. It's not something that it's typically seen too much. You want to be kind of utilizing Carmine and Professor's Research to get those energies in the discard pile. But yeah, it looks like...
Here we go. Heads, it goes through. Tails. Oh no, the attack fails. And then it hits itself for 30 damage as well. So just like in game 1, Diego has the freebie turn, was able to buy himself a turn here. And that might be all he needs to get those Gardevoird EX, try and find the Bravery Charm, and then start swinging for massive damage.
I mean, even right now, it doesn't even need to, right? It's only got 150 HP remaining on that Ceruledge. Maybe even less if you want to try and weave in some more Monkey Dory damages if you need to. But doesn't need a Bravery Charm right now. That Balloon Blast will be doing more than enough damage to take a big 2-prize KO. Of course, doesn't want to be sending up the Gardevoird EX to do the swinging away, because then it's susceptible to get knocked out. Sometimes in different matchups or different scenarios, that might be the play. Earthen Vessel here now being utilized to grab another Dark Energy.
What else was in Diego's hand there? Was it actually enough to progress the turn? Was there supporters? Oh, there was Professor Research as well. Okay, well, okay.
And another Gardevoird EX.
And another Gardevoird EX as well.
There's the Dark Energy attached to the other Monkey Dory. Does mean that one Psychic Energy is, for the moment, is going to be sort of a bit trapped on that Monkey Dory. But when you've got enough Psychic Energies going around, it's probably more than enough here. Professor's Research, another Psychic Energy going into the discard pile. Doesn't want to use that counter catcher right now, because there's no easy way to guarantee a 2-prize knockout. I mean, didn't even hit a Bravery Charm from that Professor's Research either, so can still just Balloon Blast and take a big knockout here.
Yeah, I think that's going to be what she wrote there. I mean, as you say, don't need the Bravery Charm anymore, because that Ceruledge has done a bit of damage to itself. It's took the Mind Bend. It's in range. And yes, it's not looking great there. We are going to see the retreat now. And it is going to be into that Drift Loon. So Balloon Blast for each energy attached in 60 damage. That's not enough. That 180, that's more than enough to KO that Ceruledge. Oh, this is looking unfortunate there for Ross. Diego missing the Bravery Charm. Doesn't actually matter, though. And, yeah, it does have double Monkey Dory developed as well. Obviously, can't use that now on the Drift Loon, because that's going to reduce your damage, so don't be doing that.
Double Monkey Dory and double Gardevoird. There's a big knockout. Balloon Blast knocking out a Ceruledge EX. Diego going ahead on prizes now. Ross only has one Ceruledge waiting in the wings currently on the bench. Just kind of eyeing up promoting that Monkey Dory to the active spot. Top decks of Fire Energy. Which direction will he go with this particular turn here? Has Pheasantipity, has two Carmines in hand as well. It's going to be kind of a very interesting decision on how Ross progresses this board state. I'm sure he'll be looking to try and set up another Charcadet at some stage. Well, not at some stage, as soon as possible as well. He doesn't want to see another Ceruledge go down without another attacker coming back at some stage. There's the Artisan being utilized now.
Tell you what, though, 12 energy in the discard pile only needs a couple more. And you're swinging at one-shot territory on a Gardevoird EX. You know, Briar could be knocking about at some point. So Ross has developed that sort of massive late-game scenario. The problem is, though, you kind of have to deal with the active Drift. You don't really want to, but you kind of have to. And I guess if you are going to do it, the cheeky little Charcadet that could Will-O-Wisp does get there.
I mean, at the moment, I mean, we can talk about all the different lines that Ross can take, right? You maybe if you can get more energies into the discard pile, you can stretch and take a knockout on the Gardevoird EX, put you down to 3. Diego will then have to deal with a Ceruledge EX at some stage, right? Putting himself down to 2, and then Ross, it really is only then still a Briar turn once again, taking 3 prizes on another Gardevoird EX. You know, we could telepath this, but it's going to be down to all these little cards that he's going to have to play from his hand. I think he doesn't want to put down that Pheasantipity I think he has in hand right now as well. The Monkey Dory there just kind of in the active spot. Looks like the energy attachment's going on the Charcadet.
Yeah, I think you're going to try and line up the Will-O-Wisp, right? You can discard the energy from the active, get to 30, and then with the Charcadet gets KO'd, you're now at the Gardevoird EX one-shot territory.
Yeah, the 14 mark puts it up to 280 plus 30 from the base.
There you go. See, I'm learning.
Yeah, you're doing well, my friend. You're doing well. Right, yeah, he was deliberating on that Pheasantipity, but decided to go with the Night Stretcher on the 3rd Charcadet now on the board, essentially, as well. Ultra Ball in hand, Medical Energy in hand. And there it is. There's the retreat from the Monkey Dory of the Dark Energy. Will-O-Wisp, Charcadet, ready to start swinging away again.
There it goes. Look at that artwork. It's running through the meadow, getting ready to take a prize card. Big Will-O-Wisp. Ross taking his 2nd prize card here. Looks like Basic Fire was taken. Actually needed that to attack next turn, funnily enough. With all his energy in the discard pile, could be quite tough. is over to Diego, though.
I think it was one of those jet
energies.
Oh,
the jet energy. So I apologize.
No, you're
was
right.
The jet energy being taken there. Is over to Diego. They're going to promote the Monkey Dory. Let's see what he can manufacture. The world is his oyster, though. He has all sorts of options here. When you're Gardevoird and you've got that amount of energy in a discard pile, it can really get out of hand. And we do see the Super being played, going to shuffle in 3 in any combination of Pokemon and basic energy, but it looks like it's going to be Drifloon and Screamtail. Arters on basically means you can grab whatever you like there, and it is going to be the Screamtail getting taken.
Yeah, I mean, you're just going to have to force the issue here. Maybe just take out the Squawkabilly EX. I mean, there's no way for Ross to take 4 prizes on a turn, even with Briar.
Nope.
Which means that, you know, Diego puts himself in a fantastic spot. I mean, when you have a board state of double Gardevoird EX, double Monkey Dory with Dark Energies on, that active Monkey Dory can then free retreat with the Psychic Energy already attached to it as well. You finally find your Bravery Charms. I mean, I'm pretty sure that deck isn't even that big anymore. No. They were all just kind of waiting in the wings there. I mean, when you haven't utilized any one of your 3 at this stage, and now you can start utilizing it now for big swings, it's going to be feeling pretty good with just over 5 minutes remaining of this Swiss round 4.
It just feels so unfair when you play against Gardevoird like this. Like, I need to KO the Screamtail, but I need to KO the Monkey Dory. I need to KO the 2 prizes, but you can't do it all at the same time, as we do see the retreat to the Screamtail in the active Psychic Embrace ×4. And that means the Roaring Scream is hitting for massive damage. There's the Bravery Charms. Can even, you know, overreach that if you like, but don't need to. You're just going to carry the Squawkabilly.
Keeping it out of range from Will-O-Wisp. It's going to be it's a good point. Annoying thing that you could try and do against Ross here.
Yeah.
Then, you know, with 8 damage counters on the Screamtail right now, times it by 2, which is the Roaring Scream attack. Of course, you can stretch over, you know, just kind of take the knockout over the Charcadet.
Just reach around
against the
Squawkabilly
EX.
And there's the big Roaring Scream KO. Squawkabilly sent to the discard pile. As Diego is on 2 prize cards, that means Briar is live, but Ross cannot take 4 prize cards this turn. And let's see what he can do.
I mean, I guess he could technically take 2 prizes against this Screamtail if he plays the Briar, but then has to get that Ceruledge EX into the active spot. Does then mean the 2 prizer is available to get knocked out. He knows Diego's chucked Drifloon back into the deck.
Yep, and Artazon fishes it straight away. So we'd love to see a staging replacement Levencia here, just to stop the easy Drifloon. But then look at Diego's hand, though. You're going to have to try and play the Ino. Has he? I think he's used his Ino already, hasn't he, Ross? Did he shuffle it back in?
He did shuffle it back in from the power pad. Just looks like Artisan for that Tech Fan Rotom, usually used for its fan call ability, where once during your first turn, you can search a deck for up to 3 colorless Pokemon with 100 HP or less. But Ross doesn't play any other colorless Pokemon. So it's just used for Assault Landing, which is a very efficient attacker, utilizing something like that Jet Energy he just pulled from his prizes, get into the active spot. As long as there's a stadium in play, Assault Landing is dealing 70 damage, and that's more than enough to take down this Screamtail.
It really is. I remember when we first booked up Ross's list, I saw the fan Rotom, I was like, oh, okay, what are we searching out here? And I was like, oh, not searching for anything. So it's it's just there for that Assault Landing, which is, you know, this is a perfect scenario for it. Basically saying, right, so you're going to Bravery Charm out of my Will-O-Wisp, try and Bravery Charm out of my Assault Landing, not to be able to do that. But, you know, this isn't, it's a nice play. It's going to take 1 prize card, but then if Diego takes that 1 prize card, that means you can't use Briar anymore, which then means you're really far behind. So I'm intrigued to see what Ross does here. We do see the Rev of Room getting evolved, so that means Rumbling Engine is live, letting you discard an energy from your hand to then draw to have 6 cards in your hand as well.
Yeah, I feel like Ross is going to need to find a way to get an Iono in play, and on this turn right now, right? You can't allow Diego to be working with such a large hand currently waiting there. But the only way is would have been having to discard the Jet Energy with the Rev of Room to try and draw up to 6. Oh no, he has a Medical Energy there as well. So he's played the Jet Energy. There we go, we draw 4 more cards here. Does he find the Iono? Was it that last card? No, I'm not quite sure.
I think Iono got... Oh, no, there it is! Wow! You have to.
Yeah, you have to. You just have to.
Need to. We need to see the Iono.
And make sure hopefully, Diego, you know, you can get into the Levencia, and then you can't, you know, find also the Bravery Charm as well.
Oh, Assault Landing.
Salt landing. It's a knockout. He's taking the knockout here. He's going down to 3 prizes. It's over to Diego.
Okay, it is over to Diego. Now has got that accordion hand to work with. Doesn't play boss's orders though. So
no, that's true. That is true.
So the fan rotom will be staying in the active spot, which means Diego is capped at how many prize cards he can take. Because without any, you know, massive hit point shenanigans, we can't reach into, or we can't reach into the Ceruledge. It's a Terra Pokemon. You can't hit it while it's on the bench.
Yep, absolutely. I was just double checking the actual list as well. Just trying to see maybe if Diego was playing 3 or sometimes what we've seen in 4 Monkey Dories. There's only 2 in the list.
Okay.
So, I mean, if he, for example, did double Monkey Dory, triple Monkey Dory, he could have taken the damage knockout with Adrenabrain on an active and then maybe targeted something else or on a bench and then attack the active. But there's a Scream Tail from the Night Stretcher going onto the bench. There's Psychic Embrace retreating back into the Scream Tail. Psychic Embrace once again onto the active. You can then, of course, use Adrenabrain to maneuver some damage over. And again, it's just kind of oh, there you go, putting some additional damage as well. There is the Adrenabrain on the active, so it looks like maybe just kind of taking a knockout on another single prizer. That's on the bench for the moment.
Yeah.
Lots of options. I mean, they're all susceptible. I mean, there's no way for Ross really to kind of get rid of the Fan Rotom after having damage counters on it, right? He's also setting up the board with the Drifloon as well. Nest Ball being utilized there. Just saying, well, I'm going to set up this attacker. Let's see if you can also deal with this. Yep.
Basically saying, right, you can't get it. You can't get it out of my hand now because it's in play. Earth and Vessel going to discard the Curlier perhaps on an Ultra Ball. Now I like this. This Ultra Ball is basically saying play an Iono now, and I'm getting rid of as much dead stuff out of my hand and deck as possible. So I'm going to draw into stuff that I only want.
Yep, and that's going to be always key because you only want to be hitting something like the Bravery Charm at that sort of point as long as you've got the energies available for yourself for Drifloon to deal massive amounts of damage. But it's on Diego just to kind of thin out the deck. Timer has been called here.
Oh, good spot.
Just to make sure. I wonder if that one.
That deck, Alex, was almost basically saying every card can almost find Bravery Charm. I saw a couple Avery. I saw a couple Bravery Charm Professor's Research. And there we do see the Arven. And that's going to grab the Bravery Charms. You can develop the Bravery Charm on Drifloon now and say, no matter what you put in the active, I'm sending it to the discard pile with a big Balloon Blast.
Yeah, I can just attach it now. There's not too many cards that can remove it from play. Whichever way you'd like to go with it. It actually gets it onto the Screen Tail here.